Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're gonna actually discuss Haxorus. And I actually love this card because in the pre-release when it came out, I didn't draw anything great. I only drew 2 Haxoruses and 4 Axews and 2 Fractures, I think. So the only thing I could have played was Haxorus, and I played it and I actually had a really good time with it because in the pre-release nobody had Lysanders or anything to switch out Pokemon. So once Haxorus was active, he was pretty much doing amazing amount of damage. Unfortunately, now that he's in the format, there are things like Lysander and things that make you switch out. So Haxorus dipped down a bit in playability, but it's still a fun card to play with, and it's still pretty fun to get those Dragon Dances up and then do like 230 damage with just 2 energies, or 160 damage for 1 energy. It's really cool. It's really nice. It's a cool setup. And what I like about it the most is he keeps it. So let's go and discuss Haxorus real quick. Haxorus 160, Dragon type Pokemon. So obviously we to Fairy, Fairy being popular-ish, but something you won't run into too much. The only thing I can think of that's popular right now is Aromatisse Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo. That's a pretty popular Fairy engine deck, but as far as main attackers, I don't think there is one. His first attack is Dragon Dance for 1 colorless. This is the main key of the attack here. As long as this Haxorus is your active Pokemon, each of its attacks deal 100 more damage. Before applying weakness and resistance, you can't add more than 100 damage in this way. So what this means is we can Dragon Dance, set up 1 Dragon Dance for us, and from that point on, as long as this Pokemon remains the active Pokemon, you add an additional 100 damage to whatever attack he does. So now Sharp Fang for 60 for 1 energy now can do 160 damage, and Dragon Pulse for 130 can now do 230 and discard top 3 cards of your deck. So the whole point of the Haxorus here is to Dragon Dance on a Pokemon that really can't do much to Haxorus. Maybe your opponent has a slow start, and then just destroy them with Sharp Fang or Dragon Pulse depending on the Pokemon you're facing up. So Sharp Fang for the a lot of the Pokemon, and then Dragon Pulse of course for the Megas. That's about it. And he has a 3 retreat cost. So pretty bulky, nice looking artwork. Everything overall is nice about Haxorus. The only flaw is stage 2 and the fact that he has to set up to be devastating. So what you want to do here is, if your opponent doesn't really have much to attack you with, or maybe he has a slow start, you just kind of want to have 1 Haxorus as the active and no bench Pokemon. That way they cannot Lysander or escape rope your Haxorus out. For whatever reason, if you do need to, you have to play it, and of course they'll probably Lysander out the other Pokemon just to get rid of Dragon Dance. But Dragon Pulse still isn't that bad of an attack. It's 130, so after a while that will actually stack up. Of course you discard the top 3 cards of your deck, but after 2 Dragon Pulses, most if not all Pokemon are knocked out. Let me see what can survive. I believe a Wailord with Hard Charm, and I don't know, something else with Hard Charm probably. That's about it. Axew, 4 little Axews here, and 2 Fractures. Nothing too important about them, just Haxorus. We got 1 Jirachi. I recommend having maybe 2, and he is actually for the lock. He's a tech for our lock decks. Obviously, since we're running a stage 2 and we need to get him out as fast as possible, we have a lot of item cards, and Toad and things like that. Item lock kind of decks really do pose a hindrance on us. So Jirachi would help us out just a little bit here. Jirachi is a 60 HP Steel type Pokemon. It's got a nice little artwork. He is a promo, so they did have him on the shop for a little bit of time. He's out right now, but I think they'll put him back in. For 1 energy, we do Stardust, does 10, but discard special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon if you do prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. It gets rid of the special energy. That's the main point of it. It does not let you play items against Toadlock, because that's an effect based on your hand, and not when Toad locks you, it's an effect on the player, not the Pokemon. So he won't negate the lock, but he will discard the special energy that most Toad decks use. So it takes them. They will have to manually attach, or or they won't have. Some Toad decks don't run basic energy. They like to run special energy. So depending on the variance, you can actually lock them out completely, or you can just stall for a bit of turn for a turn or 2, so you can actually get a Haxorus out. And our last supporter of the day here is not mischievous, but I just want to show him off, show her off. It's Miss Magius or Miss Magius, one of those two. It's 90 type, it's 90 HP, second type, and we're going to use the Twisted Incantation. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may have your opponent shuffle his or her hand into his or her deck and draw a card for each of his or remaining prize cards. Keep in mind that she is not really influential part of the deck. She's only in the late game when you have Haxorus out, and let's say your opponent has a nice six card hand, and he has one prize card left. You can use Miss Magius to put his hand size down back to 1, and hopefully he doesn't have anything to get rid of Haxorus or remove this condition Dragon Dance. It's only what it's for. It's not for anything else. It might not even come out in most of the games you play. It's just here as a tech. Little thing I would like to note: if you want to make this deck more consistent, of course adding Shaman EXs will help out a ton. I didn't want to put Shaman EXs in here because I want to kind of make a couple decks without Shaman to make them still show that they can be run without Shamans, but they will help out. And if you opt to not put Shamans, Unknown make a great partner because they go on the bench, but then you can discard them, so they can still draw you cards, and at the same time they keep Haxorus from being Lysander or Escape Roped out. So if you don't have Shamans, Unknown work just fine. We also have 3 Acrobikes. Reason being, we need to fish out Haxorus as fast as we can. So the Acrobites here are either for the rare candies or to get rare candies or to get a Haxorus out. We kind of want to skip the Fracture line, but we have to evolve Fracture. We also have Buddy Buddy Rescue, and I know what you guys are saying, why Buddy Buddy Rescue? I actually kind of favor this kind of card against Gallade. Evolta Zoroark Gallade, and also against Archies, and it proves kind of useful against Night Marches, although Night Marches have a lot of cards to discard stuff, so they won't be hindered too much by it. What this is for is to stop the Gallades or stop anything from Archies. Usually when your opponent plays, it works best against Gallades. When your opponent plays Zoroark, Evolta, Gallade, they have to discard the Gallade into their discard pile, and then if they have it, they can max use. If they can't, then it stays there. But we use Buddy Buddy Rescue to not only get a Pokemon that we have in the discard pile, but also force them to get a Gallade from their discard pile. It's pretty neat. It's only 2 though, so it's not too important, but it is kind of fun to do it every now and then. We have 3 rare candies for, of course, Haxorus. 1 Super Rod, something new. It's actually an old card, but they reprinted it. Shuffle 3 any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard into your deck. So you can shuffle 2 Haxorus and an energy, or 2 energies and a Fracture. You can shuffle whatever you like, as long as it's basic energy and whatever Pokemon. You've got 3 Transmail, obviously for the rare candy, and Ultra Balls. 4 Ultra Balls to get a Haxorus, just in case we do have a rare candy. 3 Versus Seekers. This is mostly just for Skyla or maybe Lysander. We also have 2 Giovanni's Schemes. This is to boost Haxorus attack to 180 range if we don't have Muscle Band. We also can use it to draw up to 5 cards. And then we have Lysander here. It's to capture out possible threats, maybe even 2 prize cards, Shamans, kind of things like that. We have 4 Professor Sycamores because it's Sycamore. We have 2 Skylas, and Skyla is here. I'm not sure when they're going to release the promo for Skyla, if they're ever going to release it, but Skyla lets you get here any trainer card, you have to reveal it, and then you put it into your deck. Put it into your hand, I'm sorry. And then we have 1 Zero Sick. This is to discard, slow our opponent down, hopefully take away a special energy or a tool from our opponent's Pokemon. We have 3 training centers. This is to increase our Haxorus HP by 30, so now he has 190 HP, which is pretty menacingly. That's a pretty high HP. Yeah, most Pokemon can't knock that out in one hit. We also have 4 Muscle Bands to permanently have Sharp Fang do 180, so it knocks out if all EXs except for all Pokemon EXs except for Tyrantrum EX, and of course Wailord EX, and of course the Megas. But after that, we can use Dragon Pulse to knock out everything else except for Wailord with a Hard Charm. And then we also have 4 Dragon Energy. This is to quickly use Dragon Pulse, but most of the time we can just do fine with just 1 Fighting Energy on our Haxorus. And that is it, guys. It's pretty much a fun deck. There are a couple variants you can run. If you want, you can just take away the Mismagiuses and the Mischievuses and put Unknowns and healing options. That way you can make a bulky Haxorus line. I kind of like having the Jirachi here as a tech for the Toad because Lock will prove a very Item lock will prove a very strain on this kind of deck, so having a Jirachi would be nice, but Mischievous and Mismagius, you can swap them out for unknowns, shamans, healing options, maybe maybe another Pokemon that you have in mind, but that's pretty much it. It proves pretty fun. I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's probably like my second funnest deck I've played with so far. But that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy the battle. So we are going against Haxorus, and he's running a fire colorless deck, so always entertaining to see what that kind of deck runs. We're gonna go in and flip heads, and we get heads. So we're gonna go first, obviously, because we need Haxorus to evolve as soon as possible to set up the Dragon Dances. Let's see, we got Rare Candy, we got an Axew, and we got a Haxorus, so not too bad of a turn. We didn't get any draw support, but we do have Trainer's Mail. Maybe that can lead to something. We also did get Acrobatic, and our opponent leads up with a Bunnelby. So of course we're gonna play Acrobatic. I'm kind of hesitating here to see what's better, playing Trainer's Mail or playing Acrobatic first. I get Double Dragon Energy, which is good. A misplay on my part, I attached my Double Dragon Energy for no apparent reason. I really can't attack the first turn either way. And I don't know, I just got really antsy. I guess I saw my hand, I was like, yay, turn 1, turn 2 Haxorus kind of thing. But because of Bunnelby, I know my opponent plays hammers or things of that sort, so obviously my energy won't stay for very long. And of course he does have Enhanced Hammer, so there goes our energy. So obviously I know we're finding some kind of mill deck here, and it turns out to be Houndoom Bunnelby, which is a very popular mill deck, and he plays a Shaman down to draw more cards. So now I have to kind of play my resources very smart. Unfortunately, I don't really have a support in my hand, so I really can't play things in that kind of sense. He does get rid of my Sycamore, which does hinder us because we're not able to look through our deck for at least an energy to use Dragon Dance. So my opponent is going to use Burrow and not getting rid of 2 cards. And we drew a Muscle Band. I'm going to go on a Rare Candy and evolve into Haxorus, but unfortunately, since we don't have an energy, we cannot set up a Dragon Dance. I'm just debating here, should I even shuffle my deck around just to see, just to hopefully draw into a fighting energy or double dragon energy. He trick shovels away a Giovanni scheme. Doesn't really help us out too much. He gets rid of a fighting energy, which is actually hurtful because now we can't set up a Dragon Dance. For even I have no idea how long it will take to actually get an energy, so I'm just gonna pass my turn. And so now I'm at Bunnelby's mercy pretty much. He's just gonna mill through my deck. I discard a Muscle Band, nothing too amazing. I already got 1 on my Haxorus, and he gets rid of a Double Dragon Energy, which is a bummer because I could have at least set up a Dragon Dance or at least knocked out the Bunnelby. So I'm just gonna have to pass my turn again. Normally in this kind of situation, this deck does actually fares decent against mill decks because we have a low cost attack, but because we weren't able to actually set up at any point in time, we have to take a turn to set up and then take another turn if our opponent discards an energy to attach again and to usually attack. I'm going to use my Ultra Ball to get rid of an Ultra Ball and a Fractured and get an Axew. The only reason why is because I want to shuffle my deck around. Maybe I want to declump things. Maybe I was going to have 2 Sycamores in a row. I don't want that. Unfortunately, my opponent discards another fighting energy and yet another fighting energy, so I kind of actually made it worse. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go in Skyla. I don't have Professor's Letter, which would help out a lot, but I don't have Professor's Letter, so I'm actually gonna get a I believe a Sycamore. Reason being is I can at least draw into an item or draw into an energy card. So I'm gonna opt for a Sycamore, or I'm thinking about Super Rod too, but Sycamore is probably more relevant right now. So next turn I'll be able to do at least something. I don't know why, but I played my Axew down. There was really no reason to actually play down Axew. My opponent doesn't really have anything that will knock out a Haxorus in 1 turn. So of course he Lysaners out the Axew, and he starts moving once more. So now what I just did was I kind of hindered my own deck, because now if I do set up a Dragon Dance, my opponent can just Lysander it and get rid of the effect. So I set up, keeping that in mind, I put Trainer's Mail, Training Center down to increase my HP of my Haxorus, and I attach an energy to Haxorus, and I'm actually going to Super Rod all my energy back. So now I'm going to set up, I'm not going to set up a Dragon Dance because I really want Bunnelby out, so I'm going to go into Sharp Fang, knocking out Bunnelby. I really don't want to see that card. I'd rather have Houndoom being out in the active. He offers up 2 prize cards for the same kind of attack. So my opponent touches an energy to, of course, Houndoom, and my opponent plays a Crushing Hammer. And in my experience, Crushing Hammer never flips tails. Only on rare cases does it flip tails. He's gonna go and judge us, and so we're gonna get our hand down to 4. Luckily, we did draw into a dragon, double dragon energy, and a fighting energy. So my opponent, of course, mills 2 more cards. So now the timer is really sinking in. I only have so much cards left over. So I need to start making some good actions here. In my mind, I'm thinking, what should I play here? Because I have double dragon energy, if my opponent doesn't have an enhanced hammer, you would have to waste a crushing hammer to hopefully discard the double dragon energy. That being said, enhanced hammers can't get rid of fighting energies, so my whole thought process here was make him waste a crushing hammer so he doesn't have as much to get rid of my fighting energies. So I set up a Dragon Dance to make my opponent waste either a Lysander or a Crushing Hammer. So of course he gets tails on Crushing Hammer. Not of course, actually I was pretty lucky, but he does use a Verse Seeker, and he does use a Verse Seeker to get out a Lysander, I believe. Yeah, of course, Lysander right there, looking pretty. He's actually he's gonna play Ultra Ball, get rid of 2 cards to get out Shaman. He's gonna play it on Shaman, draw 5 cards, and he's gonna play an Enhanced Hammer. So I made him waste quite a bit of resources just to get rid of 1 energy. He's gonna play Lysander to reset the Dragon Dance effect, which is actually okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make him get rid of his resources. So I draw another fighting energy. So if I Dragon Dance one more time, he's either gonna have to reuse Verse Seeker or use another Lysander. And his own Lysander is either a 1 of or 2 of card. Verse Seekers, however, are a 3 of or 4 of card. So I'm really trying to make him use his resources, that way he can no longer use them against me, and Haxorus can stay in the active spot. So I get out my own Lysander. Reason being is just in case I need to knock out just in case he promotes Bonobie, and I can just knock out Houndoom instead, getting 2 prize cards. So I set up another Dragon Dance. My opponent has already played 2 Verse Seekers and a Lysander, so odds of him having another Verse Seeker or another Lysander is dwindling down just a bit. He does Crushing Hammer, so another Crushing Hammer in the discard pile. Luckily, we do have fighting energy in our hand, so he doesn't actually Lysander out another Haxorus, so our Dragon Dance effect stays. So we're gonna use Sharp Fang for 180, 1 energy, 180, knocking out Houndoom EX. Delicious. So of course Houndoom goes down, we draw 2 cards. So now things are kind of turning. Unfortunately, we are running a little low on our deck, so it's pretty much, we're on a timer. What can happen first? We can deck out or we can knock him out, is essentially the timer. He does use Crushing Hammer. I believe it's his last one too. So now our fighting energies are safe. I do have 1 more in my hand, so he's not milling any kind of energy. I do draw another fighting energy, so now we're looking pretty good. He hasn't Lysander out another Haxorus, so our effect still stays. So once again, 180 on another Houndoom EX, knocking it out. So now we are 1 prize card away, so that's pretty good. We ended up getting a double dragon energy from our prize card. So once again, if he discards another energy or of that sort, we at least have another option here. Or even if he Lysanders out our other Haxorus, we can actually use double dragon energy to knock out the Shaman if he promotes the Shaman, knowing we can't knock it out in one hit. So he's gonna Trick Shovel. We're running really low. I think we're in the single digits at this point, so it's actually pretty scary if I was gonna deck out already, or if I was able to get this knockout. I was already preparing just in case he Lysanders out and gets rid of my energies and promotes a Shaman, because Shaman we can't knock out with Sharp Fang, but we do have the double dragon energy, so we're able to Dragon Pulse the Shaman just in case our opponent wants to stall another turn, which is a very possibility with mill decks. So he doesn't actually, he's just gonna mill us, which is actually pretty good, because now we can just Sharp Fang and knock it out. So that was the only thing I was fearing, was Shaman coming in and resetting my Dragon Dance. I put GG, but my opponent concedes. I don't know if he just wanted to get it over with. It was a tournament, so that kind of thing. I was gonna upload this tournament as the full video, but because my first match was kind of like a landslide victory, and this match was the most fun match of it, I decided to include this match And the last match I wasn't able to play because I guess PTCGO glitched me out and just had the coin in front of my character and didn't let me play anything. Didn't let the other guy play, but apparently I lost in it. I think I disconnected, but it didn't allow me to reconnect. I'm not sure. I think that's it. So hopefully you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.